Okay, it says we're live, but I do know that there's going to be a lag between what I'm actually saying and when you're actually seeing it on Facebook. So I'm going to just chat for a few minutes so that I can wait and see if anybody joins us. And if you are joining me, if you could please write in the comments that you can hear me, that would be ideal, please. And thank you. But we're going to give it just a few minutes. Let me tell you about what's been going on here on the hill. We, oh dear, we, it's the nights are getting really, really cold. So I had to bring like all the outdoor plants that I normally have outside in the summer. I had to finally bring them all in. I was kind of leaving them out during the day and bringing them in, but we had just gone camping and I thought they're going to freeze to death out there. So anyway, we ended up bringing all of them in already. Um, and the leaves that are falling are tremendous. I mean, it's always a chore, like a 7 day a week job cleaning leaves here, but our tractor just broke and we usually use the tractor to pull one of those yard vacuum cleaner things around on it, and it chops the leaves up with the lawnmower blade, and then it sends it through and it chops it up even smaller in the vacuum thing that we pull behind the tractor, and then it fills up this big huge, and then Tom goes and he dumps it, but he's in charge of the track vac, if you will. All right, well, I think that I'm going to go ahead and get started. Nope, I'm not, because it is 1 minute till, and I said 6 o'clock. So let's make sure that I know, I'm sorry. But I'm looking at all my screens to make sure that things are still doing well. Hopefully you can hear me. Let's see. Well, I can hear my we have a chiming kind of a clock in the living room, which is downstairs, and I hear it chiming, so it must be 6. I'm not sure if you can all hear that or not. All right, so let me switch over to my notes so I don't forget what I'm saying here. And then I also have some instructions, but I know that you only got to see a portion of the instructions with just the supplies that you needed to have ready to go. But let me, before I get started with cutting all that stuff up, let me show you the inspiration here. So this is a portfolio, and this is great if you, let me start over again. I wanted to welcome everybody. I started to say that first, and then I wanted to do the lag thing. So anyway, welcome to everybody to Craft With Me Live. And I'm Deb Keyes with Stampin' on the Hill, in case you didn't already know me. And if you're catching the replay, I'd love to know. Just put in the comments replay, and I really appreciate that you are watching. The portfolio, okay, back to the actual project. The portfolio is really kind of cute. I don't know if you can see the little bow here on it, and it's just a folder, okay? So if I untie the bow, and this is, you can kind of see it in the picture, in the supply list picture, but so this is the portfolio portion, and then inside, I put those on here so you can see them, but inside we have 4 cards, and the cards, as you can tell, this is the inside of one of the cards, and they're all going to be like the same or as different as your DSP is. If you're using all the same DSP, then your cards will probably all be the same. But I wanted to point out that these greetings, because I made this at a demonstrator only event, which I guess I should again, add a plug for the demonstrator only event, because if you're not a demonstrator, now is the time to join, because it's only $35 and you get to pick all of the $125 worth of whatever you choose to buy. Anyway, but then you also get a discount and stuff on that. I did a video not long ago. So go back and watch that. I'm not going to repeat all of the things again, but it is the best deal. Anyway, so at this demonstrator event, we made this portfolio with these cards. And so we all started out. The one thing that we were able to do is somebody had pre-cut these for us. So there's a stamp set, and it is a bundle. So the stamp is almost like a background stamp, so it's large. It's probably, well, it's probably about the same size as like the whole piece of rubber in here, and it's got all these words and stuff on it. And then there's one die that cuts them all out. So these are a couple of the ones that had been cut out. And then I also have this little baggie full of all of the extra ones, because everybody at the event got a whole set. So there's a whole bunch of cool ones in here. And I wanted to flip back a second in case there are comments. Give me a sec here. All right. Anyway, so all of these are going to look as similar or as different as the different pieces of DSP, because you're going to use, like, you were supposed to cut 5 pieces or have 5 6x6 pieces of DSP, and 4 of them are right here. All right. So we're going to put these away. This is the inspiration. We're going to put these away, and we're going to get started with cutting. I'm going to get this out of the way. I wanted to let you know that I'm using Encircled with Love for that. Bring it back in a second here for the front again, because I really liked that, a little something for you, thinking that this is going to be a gift. And then the inside, each of the cards, I'm going to use the right words for. All right. And I'm also using, where did it go? Well, somewhere. I'm using the Designer Series paper that is called Full of Life. And this is already 6x6, so I didn't have to cut it. And I chose to use like 5 different pieces in here. Can you see this? There's because we're going to use a little bit on the back sides or whatever. So I decided to use those because they're different. And I'm using, this is, I think it's retired now, this ribbon that I got. It is, I have to put my glasses on. Iridescent ribbon. Striped trim. There you go. It's a 1/2 inch wide. And that's the same that we used on the example too. So, all right, let's bring in a cutter, and let's bring in this. We're going to start with the portfolio. All right. So we have one 8.5 by 11 sheet. All right. We're going to score it with the 8.5 side at the top. We're going to score it at 2 inches. So just here. All right. And then we're going to rotate it so the 11-inch side is at the top, and we're going to score it again at 5.5. Okay. I'm trying to go slow, but know that if you happen to miss anything, you can always go back and watch the replay afterward. Okay. I'm also going to take my trimming blade here. Let me show you this, if you can see it. I have the score. It came all the way down. I'm going to take my trim blade now, my cutting blade, and I'm going to cut all the way up to this horizontal score mark. And I can tell because this has these nice little indicators on the inside. So now let's move this out of the way. We're going to fold this in half, and I'm going to give it a crisp kind of a score here with my bone folder. And then we can open it back up, but what we're going to do is we're going to cut little wedges right out of the side of here. And the best way I found to do that was to fold it in half, flip it upside down, and bring in my scissors, and right from this score mark here, I'm just going to give it just a little bit of a wedge. And that way they're both the same. That's why I fold it and do it together. So this is what it kind of looks like, right? And then we're going to flip it, and these are going to be our pockets now for the portfolio. So realistically, this is the portfolio, right? Like that. Got it? All right. So now I just found these are bright colors because the DSP that I chose to use is bright. So let's see, you were supposed to have coordinating cardstock that is 4 by 5 1/4. So I chose Blueberry Bushel to go with my, Shy Shamrock. And I picked my colors kind of based on the colors that are in the listed on the back of the DSP, the ones that coordinate with the DSP itself. And then I also picked Balmy Blue to go here as this layer. And then my DSP is, we forgot to cut it. Yours is still 6 by 6. So go ahead and give that a cut, and it's going to be 3 5/8 by 4 7/8. And before you cut it, look at mine a second, because this doesn't leave me a whole lot of room. It's not, there's not a big mat on the other side of this. I think I'm going to take and cut a couple more edges off of this. So let's see, maybe instead of 3 5/8, 3, 4, 5/8. Yep. I think I'm going to cut it at 3 1/2. And then the other side, I'm going to cut at, let's see, 4 3/4. That sounds better. And you know what? I think I'm going to update the instructions to reflect that as well. Yeah, that's better. It gives it a little bit more. All right, so we're going to glue, not this, but we're going to glue these 3 pieces together. So I'm going to start with the top layer. I always do the smallest piece. Add my glue here. Then holler if you have any questions. I'm trying to watch the comments, but know that as you type it, there's a lag here, so I may not see it immediately. I'm hoping that nobody's commenting, so I don't know if I'm not getting comments or if just nobody's commenting. All right, so I'm gonna layer that up. Okay, now, before we put this on here, we're gonna grab our ribbon, and it was supposed to be, it's optional, so you don't have to put the ribbon on it, but it's gonna be 25 inches-ish. It could be a little more if you want. I probably wouldn't make it less. And we're going to even up the ends so that they're even here. And then we're going to glue this down right on top of it. So we get our adhesive going here. And then hold that together. And because I'm going to glue this right down on top, it's going to hold our ribbon down right across here. Okay. And that's the only place that the ribbon is actually going to be attached to this whole thing. So when you're done, this whole section will come back out here. But it gives you room to tie it. So for now, we're not going to tie it because we don't have anything to put in it yet. And then I already pre-cut mine. So I've got a circle for this, and I use a 1 7/8 inch circle punch for this one. This is the white that I'm using is one of the, I told you to cut 5 4 by 5 1/4 pieces of either basic white or very vanilla, whichever you wanted to do. 4 of those pieces are going to be for the insides of your cards, and then the one piece is where you're going to cut all your greetings out of, and you'll have leftovers. Or you can use scraps instead of that 5th piece, but I figured it was safer to have you just cut the extra one. All right, so let's see. I'm going to just use my Encircled with Love, and I just like the little something for you. And I'm going to use Blueberry Bushel. And as I was looking for a piece of Blueberry Bushel to cut at about 2 inches to mat this together, I happened to see this in my scrap. And although this is, what was this called? Deckled Circles or something was the die, but it fit. So I decided I'm going to use it. I hate when I cut out extra stuff and then decide not to use it and then think, oh, well, I can use that for something else later. So I put it in my scrap pile for later, and then I end up not using it. I'd comment, but you're a bit behind. That's okay, Mom. I'll let me slow down a minute. It's hard to know how fast everybody else is stamping. I know when you've done it for a long time, sometimes and even some people who haven't done it for a long time. I have some people who come to class and they're like, zoom, 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 zoom. Mickey's the fastest one, my daughter. She comes and everybody is, and she just puts her nose to the grindstone and she just stamps, 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 stamps. And then she's done. And everybody looks at her and says, what the heck? How did you get done so fast? She's just a fast stamper. And she's not a perfectionist as far as, making sure that all of the pieces are exactly lined up. If it's a little bit, she doesn't worry about all that stuff because it's homemade. All right, I'm gonna, hopefully, Mom, you're kind of with me here, but I'm gonna go ahead and stamp the greeting on here. Sometimes when we have a circle stamp, I'm gonna bring in a sponge just in case. But sometimes when we have a circle kind of a stamp and you're going to punch it out, sometimes I like to punch it first because it doesn't matter where on like your big square of paper you're punching that circle from, and then you can just stamp sort of in the center, because with this you can see all the way around it to stamp in the center of it. Other times, especially if this were a red rubber and you couldn't see through it, I definitely would try to stamp it first, and then you would use your punch. I brought the punch anyway. You would use your punch after you stamp it and turn it upside down, and then you would be able to center your project inside there before you squeezed it to cut it out. I'm going to clean this. Yes, you can watch this again when I'm finished. Yep. And you'll be able to like start and stop it too. So you could like do a step and then stop and do the step and then turn it back on and watch the next step and then turn it off and do the step. So yeah, you can do that. All right. So again, with the littlest paper first, I'm going to layer this together. I know it's upside down, but I'm just looking for the circle right now. All right. There's that. And then this, we're going to, goes this way, but I'm going to pop it up with some couple dimensionals. So usually on circles, I use like 3. So, and it doesn't even matter where, but I usually use 3. Sometimes if I'm going and I know I have to go over the ribbon, I'll only use 2, so or 4 maybe, so that it goes over the ribbon. Depends on how thick the ribbon is. All right, so let's see. I'm gonna put this here. All right. Okay, so for now, the portfolio is done. All right. We will get this together and we're going to make the cards. But, all right, so go ahead and I usually do when I'm cutting my cardstock, and I pre-cut mine because I forgot that I didn't tell you guys to pre-cut your card bases. So usually what I'll do is I'm going to kind of hold this back together a second. I have an 8.5 by 11 sheet. Okay. And I will put it in my cutter and I will score it this way. So 8.5 is across the top. And I will score it at 4.25 this way. So I did the score, okay, on the whole sheet. And then I'll turn it so that the 11 is at the top. And I will cut at 5.5. So go ahead and do that for both of your other 2 sheets of cards, 8.5 by 11 cardstock that I asked you to prepare. And I'm going to go ahead and, while you're doing that, I'm going to go ahead and get mine all creased up. Alrighty. And notice that I'm putting the ends together without like doing a whole crease right here on my score line. Oh, and FYI, the indent, so this is the part that I scored, goes on the outside. So that's like the peak, not the valley. But I like to measure up my edges and then I hold them together and I pull toward me this way. So that way it's fairly level. All right, which way do I have? Make sure they're going the right way, or you'll end up having an upside down card that opens from the wrong direction. I've done that before. Don't laugh. Okay. So I'm going to show you my DSP while I'm waiting to see if anybody needs a little catch-up time here. So I used, and I'm not sure which side I'm going to use for all of this. I think it's going to kind of depend on after we cut it, you'll see what I mean, but kind of depend on what is left. So these are kind of cool. And there's a polka dot one with that. Oh, I might want to cut this way. So our first cut is going to be like this, and you're going to use like this whole part for the front of your card. Okay. And this one, I think I want to cut it this way too. So these, and usually you can, these aren't going to matter, I guess. Unless I want this way or this way. I'm going to go with this way for the front, probably. And then what colors? I want the blue to kind of be on there. All right, so I'm going to go with these and this. I'm going to cut 2 at a time. Okay. Let's see. I'll bring the cutter back in. And like I said, we're going to make our first cut at 4 inches. So these are all 6 by 6. You just decide which one you want the top to be, because this section right here is going to end up being the front of your card. Either this or the back side, it doesn't matter. All right, so 4 inches. We're going to cut all the way down both of those pieces. Set these aside. Then I'm going to turn it this way and cut 3/4 of an inch. And I like to, when it's like an inch or less, I like to use the other side of my cutter. So I'm going to go with this 3/4 of an inch, which leaves this at 5 1/4, right? 5 1/4. So I guess it doesn't matter if you just do the 3/4 of an inch or put this one at 5 1/4. Okay. So then we have these two. This is our 3/4 of an inch down here. I'm going to set these aside. I'm going to keep them in order, but shoot. Hoping you're with me here. Then I'm going to cut a 1/2 inch off of here. So this is just going to be a 1/2 inch, and I'll just do it on this side because I think you'll be able to see it better. All right. So I'm going to go 1/2 inch there. And then, so this is going to be saved for a different project. And these 1/2 inch strips, we're going to cut at 5 1/4 again. If I can get them lined up right, we're going to do that. Come on. 5 1/4. I guess if they're a little long, we can still trim them later. All right. So we're going to do the same thing now. Move this out of the way. We're going to do the same thing with the other 2 pieces. All right. So cut them both at 4. Turn it. Easy for me to do. Turn it and cut it at 5 1/4 again. So we've got 3/4 left on this side. Okay. I'm going to leave that together with those. And then I'm going to cut another 1/2 inch off of these 2 pieces. When I'm just doing a little strip like this, for some reason, I always like to go upward with my blade. I don't know why. It just seems like it'll turn or something if I go the other way, that I don't have as much control. There we go. All right, so those are our little pieces, and these are left over. Okay. Are you with me? Okay, here we go. And we're going to put them together. Oh, so you should have some 4 pieces of, these are 4 by 1, I believe, right? 4 inches by 1 inch. Oh, and this is with your other secondary, or your initial. So when I did it, I used the same color as my biggest piece on the outside of this. You don't have to, but that's what I did. And then my secondary piece of cardstock, that lighter blue, that's no place else. It's only on this one portfolio. All right, so we're going to start with deciding how this is going to go. Oh, that looks cooler like that, I think. All right, we're going to go with it that way. Let's move these out of the way. So we're going to just glue this on here. I could have used this side on the front too, but this is kind of cool looking. All right. And this is just another way that the Designer Series paper just does all of the work for you. All right. And then this is the piece that I cut from the end of this. So technically it was up here because I flipped it upside down, but we're going to use the opposite side. So I'm flipping this over. And we're going to attach this to one of these. And it should line up. I'm just trying to make it. Looks a little crooked, Deb. All right. So it should go from end to end and then just have the matting on the top and the bottom. Then this is going to go right across the front of just the DSP portion, and you can put it as high or as low on your card as you like. I want to look and see if we glued it all down. So come on. All right. So this is going to be one. I want to see this like sunburst part of it. So this one for me is going to be down a little bit farther than maybe you would want it. But we'll come back to that. All right. So for now, this is all we're doing. Oh. Nope. So wait a minute. We have to do the inside. I forgot about the inside. So you should have 4 full sheets that are 4 by 5 1/4. This is going to go on the inside, but we're going to use this strip, and you can use it this way, or you can flip it upside down. Doesn't matter. I'm going to look at our example here and see where we put it. We put it all the way to the left edge, but you don't have to. And then you can even stamp in here. I would recommend, if you're going to stamp on the inside a message in here, I recommend doing it before you glue all this together. But I am not going to. I'm going to use this side because it kind of looks weird without the full picture of the starburst in there. All right. Gluey fingers. And then I can wiggle it just a little bit if I need to. And then this is gonna, apparently if you wiggle it too much, you get the glue on your hands, and then you can't do a darn thing. Okay. Oh, there goes my lid. Okay, and this is going in the inside. Now remember, this is just a little bit shorter, so you're going to kind of want to eyeball your edges here to see that you have it all lined up. All right, so this one, except the greeting, is done. Let's move on. Find my cap because I like it to be that way. Now this one, this is going to be cool, or I can use this side. I like this one. This will be interesting. These are nice bright colors, aren't they? But bright, bold colors. I haven't decided really what greetings I'm going to put on them. Make sure it opens the right way. And then this with the other one of these. So this is a pretty bright pink and blue. All right, so we're going to glue this. Anything else going on out there? Are you still with me, Mom, or did you give up? Looks like my one piece is a little bit longer for some reason. I'm just going to trim it off. Sometimes that happens, that little sliver, but it's easily fixed. All right. I don't really have a reference if anybody is not able to keep up. If I'm going too fast, I'm trying to go slowly, but I apologize if I'm not. Excuse me. All right. Apparently I caught a cold while I was camping. Just kidding, I didn't really. It was freezing, but I don't feel sick. All right, so what's this gonna look like? What do you think? This way or upside down? I kind of like this way. All right, we're gonna go with. It doesn't matter if you use the back side of the back side for the in. We use the back side for the outside of it, but it doesn't matter on the inside. You could use either the same side or you can flip it over and use either or. All right. And then these. How are we doing on time? We're at 6:30-ish. We have plenty of time. Let me know if you'd like to do more of these kind of okay, thanks, Mom. Let me know if you'd like to do more of this kind of crafting in the future. I know I've mentioned, well, I mentioned it in one of my things, but all right, what are we doing with this? I'm looking because this has got a white border now around two sides, and I'm not sure I really like that. So I don't know, maybe I'll just use this side. What's this one look like? Oh, that'll be, oops, wrong one. I didn't separate them. All right. Oh, that's not bad. Maybe I'll just do that because I don't like that white border around these. And I was trying to think of that when I was choosing my DSP. Now I'm trying to think, do I want the blue on the top or the bottom? That'll stand out better down here against the brighter yellows and oranges probably. So again, yeah, I don't like that white border at all. Okay. Should have thought twice about that border when I was choosing this DSP, this one kind. I did look at it and wondered how it would be, but I decided to just go for it, Deb. So I did. You never know until you try. And if you don't like it, you can turn it into something else, usually. Or you can still send it because it's still handmade and your people that you send it to are still going to love it. Okay. Got one more here. Give it a wiggle. A little more of a wiggle. There we go. So there's, oops, we forgot to do the inside of this one. I'm slacking here. All right. That's not so bad. Maybe I'll do that. What do you think? Nope, I like the rainbow, I guess. And I think I'll keep the blue at the top on the inside too. All right. It's a double check that I really did end up putting the blue on the top. Okay. There we go. And then I can do this. And there's that. And I'm sorry if you can hear Tom wrestling with the dog. Oh, this one's kind of cool. I think I'll do this. And that one's just green, but that's okay. I could just use the dotted side too, because that's not too bad, but I don't know, kind of gets lost. I think I'm going to use the green side. Just looking for contrast here, so anything that you want to do will work. It's your card. You can make it however you like. That's what we say in class, if you come to class, because not everybody's has to be perfect, and it doesn't always have to look like the one I made. You know, mine's just an example. Okay. Out here and here. Okay. I think I like the dots for this one. What do you think? Nobody's answering. That's okay. I don't know. I'm going to go with the dots. If I get too little glue on here, it'll stick, but then I don't have that movability that I keep talking about, how great this glue is. The mobility isn't there anymore then. So I need to make sure that I get on just enough. All right. Okay. And then this one will go in here. And then, what are we doing? Okay. So these are the 4 now that we have. And now I have to decide how to do, instead of another 4 by 5 1/4 sheet, I grabbed scraps. So, you know, these are all from stuff that I had tried to do before and didn't. So I wanted some happy birthdays. So I think I'm going to do, I'm also, well, let's see. I can get one of these out of here. Yeah. So I'm going to bring in my Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine, and I'm gonna cut them before I stamp them. I know, gutsy of me, isn't it? All right, well, let's put this one on the bottom because it's the choppiest up one. Okay, not sure you can really see what I'm doing here, but you get the idea. The whole machine doesn't really fit under the camera. All right, so there's one. And that one, I'm going to put something like sending good vibes. That seems like a decent thing to say. And I wanted some thinking of yous, and I want happy birthday. So I might only use that one for this. So here's a tip for you. In these dotted lines, can you see them? The dotted lines on the outside, you're not going to be able to see once you used your label. If you can look at this one, it only has one set of dotted lines on it. But then the piece that I cut it out of also has dotted lines here. So realistically, you could use this for, you could cut this in the front of your card if you wanted to, and then it would be a little decorative, and then you could put something on the inside of your card where it would show through that window. Anyway, so as I use this little piece, although there is not, these ends are kind of going off the edge a little bit. If I flip it upside down, all the inside of the dots and everything are going to be, and the cutting. So that solid line is what's actually cutting it. So I just need to make sure that it's going to get cut. And then we'll run this through. Back up a minute because I just coming through the other side. I just try to, I keep scraps. How small of scraps do you actually keep? You know, I'm not gonna be able to do anything with that. So that's just garbage. But that one's a good one. I mean, these were all scraps that I just kept because they're scraps. And I thought, wow, I gotta use some of these things up because, you know, sorry, I just hit the camera. Because why wouldn't you, right? What? Happy birthday, sending good vibes, thinking of you. I'm trying to think of how big or small of these. That one. I think the sending good vibes will fit on the little one. I think I'll do two thinking of yous and a birthday. Might as well take this out of here. Okay. Are you with me? Is everybody cutting theirs as well? All right, I think that's all of them. So we can move all of our rest of our scraps out of here. Our dies and our machine. Man, place is a wreck. Is yours as messy as this? This is ridiculous. All right. And I'm just using black. I mean, if you wanted to still use the same color that you stamped on your portfolio, you certainly could. But I figured black is pretty versatile and it goes with everything. So that's what I'm using. Let's get this small one out here first. I don't think my happy birthday will fit on there. You see what I'm doing? No, not really. Okay. So happy birthday is going to go on a big one. I have to move them out of the way or else I'm going to get stuff everywhere. All right. Happy birthday. Let's hope that it stamps straight, right? Yay! Oh, that's funny. I stamped it upside down. Huh, okay, we'll try again. Yep, there we go. All right, happy birthday. Wipe this off. Pull it off. And I think I mentioned I wanted to do two thinking of yous. So let's see. If I can get this lined up straight. Not bad. We'll take it. Make sure we have the dots going the right way. You can feel it. They're kind of, you can feel the pokiness from all those dots. And that's supposed to be the back. That first one. I don't know what I was thinking. I had it where the dots were facing upward. All right. Dang. This is working out. I shouldn't say anything just yet. Give me one moment. And then I'll say it. So I don't want to jinx myself. Okay. Ooh, this is going to be tight. That's okay. It made it. Okay. I was going to say, and then didn't want to jinx myself. The straight stamping is going pretty well for me. Usually, you know, when you're under pressure being on camera or something like that, then you can't stamp straight because you can't see very well with the camera in your face. No, you can't really see what I'm doing, but I'm using the camera is directly above, like right here. So it's kind of right because you can see, I can't. That's why. All right. These were on with dimensionals. Let's see, which one is the vibiest looking one? This one? Kind of is, I think. Who knows? It's my card. I can put it however I want. So I'm putting a couple dimensionals on the back. And then this is just going to go here. And I've got it off toward the side. You can put yours in the center if you like. Oh, I have another tip for you. Hold on a second. Well, I'll do the next one and I'll share it with you. So wait a minute. So I've got a happy birthday, thinking of you. This one looks like a happy birthday, and that can, oh, happy birthday, and this can be thinking of you. All right, so here's the tip I was going to share. So you peel these off of the dimensionals, right? And then if you set it down gently, like just drop it and see if it's straight. I want to bring this side down just a little bit here. So before you actually tap it down, you still have some wiggle room. All right, that's my tip. Okay. And we've got happy birthday twice. Inside out. Okay. That's cute. And, oh, come on. Oh, there's one. Already kind of cut. Don't throw these away. I cut them up. You can kind of see I cut like this, and then I'll cut this, and then usually I'll cut like two because I use them because they're not round. I'll use two this way and I'll put them like this or whatever instead. So anyway, I cut these up and then I peel them off and I keep using them. So if you're just tuning in and you didn't know that tip, you're welcome. Because why waste it, right? There we go. All right. So we're going to bring our... Yeah, Mom. The prep is half the battle, I think. I mean, and these are... She says it's hard to believe you did that in less than an hour. Well, but I don't know. I kind of feel like if you have everything kind of prepped and ready to go, you had most of your DSP cut. I mean, it was already in 6-inch squares, or you just use it that way because like I did with just the 6-inch DSP. And I'm just going to tie this in a bow to kind of close it. And again, if you choose not to use, I got to tie it sideways this way. If you choose not to use the ribbon, then that's fine too. I want to go this way. They always say if you tie your bow upside down, then it'll go the right direction. Sometimes that works for me and sometimes it doesn't. Okay. All right. Well, it's okay. I kind of want to trim off this other end though. And these are my paper scissors, not my ribbon scissors, so bear with me here. There we go. And then this one's a little bit long. There we go. All right. So there it is. It's cute, nice little, it's a little thick. So definitely, if you're going to send this in the mail to somebody, you'll want to make sure that you add extra postage for sure. Plus it's bigger than a regular envelope anyway. But let me see where we are here. And get back to my notes here. Well, if you did join me, even if you're in the replay, I hope you had fun. I want to thank you for hanging out with me for the hour-ish that it was. And I will have written instructions, and I'm going to go back and change the size of that one piece of DSP on the front here. But I do have most of them written already, so I'll fix a couple things, and Well, maybe that's the only thing that I'm going to have to fix. But if you want me to email you the tutorial, well, first off, you have to actually be subscribed to my newsletter to get the emails in the first place. So if you're not, then let me know. You're welcome, Mom. Let me know. You can, on the Facebook page, you can click on contact me and it'll let you fill in your name and email address so that you can join the newsletter. So then after you've made sure that you are a newsletter subscriber, in the comments of this video when you watch it, just type "great gift" and I will make sure that I email you the instructions. All right? Okay, so I guess that's all for now. Thanks for joining me.